Welcome to the first episode of Bad Horror Movies. In this series, I'm going to review B horror movies, or just straight up bad horror movies. Now, I want to primarily focus on older horror movies because, well, there's a lot of bad forgotten ones that I want to review and bring back from the dead. I might review a few new ones here and there, but I want to primarily focus on older ones, like I said. So, let's focus on this old movie you probably might see on Turner Classic Movies called Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter. Yeah, that's a thing. So, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you have not. Let's just see how this will go, because Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter. Yeah, that's it. In the first 10 seconds, we see the company and title. What makes it weird is how fast it goes from transition. That cut I just showed you, that was literally the movie. I didn't cut anything. It was literally the movie. Based on this being an old movie, I assume it would be slower paced, but nope. They just jumped right in transition-wise. Once the opening credits begin, I cannot tell a single thing that's going on in the background. Okay, I see a chair, a donkey, they're rushing to see Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, it looks like it. After that, we have another odd transition, and the characters explain why the people we saw in the opening credits left. Because of murders and sickness, I think. They don't explain it well. Just go with it.
But why? They say he has the sickness. Dios mío. Dios mío.
I forgot to mention the horrendous over-the-top acting. The next scene shows some doctors, and it looks like they are recreating Frankenstein's monster. But the film lied, and it's not a daughter, but a son. Just kidding. That joke bombed, didn't it? You know, jokes can be sometimes hard. Never mind. One of the doctors injects poison for some reason, even though they were trying to bring him back to life. They have no explanation why.
He's dead.
So we learn the scientists want a strong man and shows Jesse James finding a random guy named Stacy.
You better win this, we're stone broke.
What makes you think I'm losing?
What do you mean? What makes you think you're losing? Stacy's beating you up in slapstick type violence?
You better pay up, mister.
Why should I?
Well, for one thing, I beat your man fair and square, I did. For another thing, we need the money real bad. And for another thing, the man you're holding out on is Jesse James.
Wait, that's Jesse James? I was personally rooting for the other guy, but that's Jesse James? Looks nothing like Jesse James. Because, you know what? Fiction. Movies. That's what they have to do. Spice things up. We meet some random people who want to kill Jesse, I guess. An attempt to, but Jesse fires first. Jesse may have shot well, but he doesn't put the gun back properly. Speaking of one of the most well-known American outlaws robbing banks, you'd think he'll be great with guns, especially putting them back. Firing them is a real challenge, but nope, this movie says otherwise. They try to make a deal of robbing $100,000, and Jesse makes a deal along with Arnold Schwarzenegger with an accent. Meanwhile, Jesse and the other guys get in a shootout with terrible cuts and laughable acting. Just watch it yourself.
How about it, Jesse? You haven't got a chance.
Let's get out of here.
Jesse, look out!
I don't mean you know, huh?
Oh, bueno,
Buenas noches, señor.
Buenas noches. ¿Habla inglés?
Poquito.
He speaks a little bit.
Well, my friend's sick. I wonder if you'd mind if we'd rest with you a spell.
Pues, ¿qué hacemos? Sí, señor, cómo no.
Gracias.
Well, dialogue. That's perfect dialogue. The three decide to help the wounded Terminator, but one of them is kidnapped. Not only are the video transitions bad, but the audio is too. Just listen. Jesse fights the kidnapper and kills him. The overall fight was fun, but felt dull with the lack of movement and choreography. This could work, but if you maybe move the camera just a little bit, maybe close-ups, even though I'm not really a huge fan of close-ups, that could work. I forgot to mention that we have 48 minutes left and no mention of the scientists ever since. Or even Frankenstein. So, Jesse brings Conan the Barbarian to the scientists thinking they are the doctors, while the sheriffs arrive at the lab shortly later. With the movie stalling of no Frankenstein monsters yet, we get this awkward love subplot scene with Jesse and Juan-nita. The music and acting are not the only things pointless and weird about this scene, but the fact that this is a horror, western, action film hybrid just adds really nothing to it. Also, they have a lack of chemistry, so I rarely care about any of these characters. Only in maybe one or two scenes, but that's it.
Just as you must go.
Why must I go?
Because I do not trust the Frankensteins. They wicked. They terrible people. They will destroy you. They destroy our village and some of...
We now finally get Frankenstein's daughter's monster. What a mouthful. The sad news is, we only got 20 minutes left of the movie. 20 minutes. I'm ready for some corny action-packed Jesse James and Frankenstein's monster to duel out.
You are no longer Hank Tracy. You are Igor.
Who names a Frankenstein's daughter's monster Igor? The governor comes awake and kills Frankenstein's daughter's assistant, so they go after Juan-nita.
Juan-nita.
Yes, Juan-nita.
Juan-nita.
Juan-nita. Meanwhile, Jesse tries to get medicine, but the owner recognizes he's Jesse James. The next scene is probably the only good suspenseful part of the film. I mean, it isn't really that great at suspense, but it's fine enough to say it's okay. It's just okay. That's the perfect way to say it.
How long is it going to take?
Well, not very long. I gotta measure this, you know. I told you, Jason.
I have no idea what he said. Something like, I told you not to... Urban.
I told you, Jason.
Jesse, like every other hero, goes back to see the kindergarten cop, and there he is. He's coming. Are they gonna clash? Oh. Damn it! The movie could have given a great, corny, cheesy battle, but the protagonist is stupid. This is Jesse James. We need a fight. Yes, I understand the film was pretty old and violence wasn't really very well established, but look at Psycho. That had blood and violent imagery. That film was more violent than this, I think. Well, Of course it is! I guess the daughter of Frankenstein needed more monsters and not one, so she decides to use Jesse James as her next experiment. Cliches ensue and the cop is taken out easy and fairly quickly.
Take him in there!
Juan-nita is met with Hutch and
Juan-nita?
but in a really slow turn, Igor kills Frankenstein's daughter with Jesse being free, but a duel is coming. Right? Igor is choking Jesse. Jesse dropped his gun. Juan-nita just shot Igor. I should have read the title. It's not meat. It's not verses. It's meat. This film is making my grammar worse. I don't know why. Guess what John Matrix's last words were?
Juan-nita.
I bet you didn't see that coming. Hank Tracy. He was Jesse James' friend. Now that's something you put on a gravestone. No need for a birth and death or how he died. Just say who his friend was and now you're good to go. Now I think he'll be remembered for generations to come. Just not this film. Yeah, this movie's bad. The acting is lazy, the dialogue makes it worse. Even the title itself is a lot. This is easily a B movie. But I can't really criticize it much. But I bet you will know what I mean. With a few funny lines and entertaining enough moments, it is still far from good. I will say, if you like action westerns and a touch of horror with bad acting, bizarre dialogue, dumb premise, or anything like that, be sure to check this movie out on YouTube. Thank you for watching this video. You don't have to subscribe, you don't have to like, but if you will, go ahead. You don't have to, you can. I'm not saying you have to, but you can. So, do you want to? Go ahead. I'm not going to say you have to. I'm not